On May 22, 2010, a man named Laszlo Hanyecz made history by purchasing 2 pizzas for 10,000 bitcoins. At the time, it was a quirky transaction, a novelty in the world of digital currency. But today, that moment is considered the symbolic birth of real-world crypto utility. Those 2 pizzas? Now worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That one innocent exchange marks the beginning of something much larger, a global economic shift, a technological uprising, a potential revolution in how we think about money, value, and power. This is the story of how cryptocurrency went from greasy pizza to disrupting trillion-dollar empires, and how it might change everything we know about the financial world. To understand the true impact of crypto, we need to go back even further. The seeds of the crypto takeover were planted during the 2008 financial crisis. As banks crumbled, mortgages defaulted, and trust in governments collapsed, people began to question the very institutions that controlled their lives. In the shadows of this economic disaster, an anonymous figure, known only as Satoshi Nakamoto, released a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That document laid the groundwork for a decentralized currency that didn't rely on banks, governments, or middlemen. Bitcoin was radical. It introduced the idea of a financial system based on mathematics and cryptography instead of politics and trust. At its core was the blockchain, a transparent, immutable ledger maintained by a decentralized network of computers. No CEO, no borders, no printing press to devalue the currency at will. Just a community of users, miners, and developers keeping the system alive. In the early days, Bitcoin was dismissed as a hobby for nerds and libertarians. It had no value, no widespread use, and no institutional support. But slowly, things started to change. Forums like Bitcoin Talk buzzed with ideas. Developers improved the protocol. A black market economy on the dark web gave Bitcoin its first real use case. And then came the exchanges, platforms like Mt. Gox, that allowed people to buy, sell, and trade Bitcoin freely. But it wasn't until Bitcoin's price began to rise, first to $1, then $10, then $100, that the world started paying attention. Critics scoffed, calling it a bubble. Economists dismissed it as a Ponzi scheme. But behind the skepticism was a growing movement. A generation disillusioned with traditional finance found something pure and empowering in crypto. It was digital cash for the digital age. By 2017, the crypto space had exploded. Thousands of new coins emerged, powered by Ethereum's smart contract technology. Ethereum, created by a teenage prodigy named Vitalik Buterin, allowed anyone to build decentralized apps, or dApps, on top of the blockchain. It was no longer just about money, it was about creating a new internet, one without gatekeepers, advertisers, or corporate surveillance. The Web3 vision had begun. With Ethereum came ICOs, initial coin offerings, allowing startups to raise millions of dollars in minutes without going through banks or venture capital firms. Suddenly, anyone with an internet connection could be an investor. This democratization of finance was exhilarating and chaotic. Scams flourished, regulations tightened, prices crashed. The 2018 crypto winter wiped out billions. But the movement didn't die. In fact, it matured. Out of the ashes of 2018 came a more sophisticated wave of projects. DeFi, decentralized finance, reimagined lending, borrowing, and trading. You could now earn interest, take out loans, or swap assets without ever handing your money to a middleman. Platforms like Uniswap, Aave, and Compound became the new banks, and they were open 24/7, permissionless and transparent. Then came NFTs, non-fungible tokens. To the average person, NFTs were just overpriced JPEGs, but they represented something bigger, digital ownership. For the first time, you could truly own a piece of the internet. Art, music, virtual land, tokenized and tradable on the blockchain. Critics mocked the hype, but behind the noise was a deep shift in how we think about value. Culture itself became investable. As prices surged again in 2020 and 2021, crypto made headlines everywhere. Celebrities launched their own NFTs. Billionaires like Elon Musk tweeted about Dogecoin, and Wall Street started joining the party. Major institutions, once skeptical, began buying Bitcoin. Companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla added crypto to their balance sheets. PayPal enabled crypto transactions. Even nation-states started paying attention. In 2021, El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Suddenly, crypto wasn't just a fringe movement, it was a serious player on the world stage. But what makes crypto more than just another speculative asset? Why do so many believe it could lead to a revolution? Because crypto challenges the very foundation of centralized power. In a world where banks can freeze your account, governments can print your savings into oblivion, and tech giants control your digital identity, crypto offers an alternative. It gives people ownership, not just of their money, but of their data, their identities, and their futures. Imagine a world where you don't need a bank to get a loan. where sending money across the globe takes seconds, not days, and costs pennies, not dollars. Imagine social media platforms owned by their users, voting systems that are transparent and tamper-proof, charities where you can track exactly where your donation goes. These aren't pipe dreams, they're being built right now on blockchains around the world. But with great disruption comes great resistance. Governments aren't thrilled about losing control over monetary policy. Banks are not eager to become obsolete. Regulators struggle to keep up with technology that evolves faster than laws can be written. Scams, hacks, and volatility provide easy ammunition for crypto's critics. And let's be honest, crypto still has a long way to go. It's not always user-friendly, it's not always secure, and it's not always fair. Yet the core idea, the dream of a decentralized open financial system, is more alive than ever. The next phase of the crypto takeover might not look like the wild speculation of the past. It might come quietly, embedded in the apps we use every day. Stablecoins, cryptocurrencies pegged to the US dollar, are already being used by millions worldwide to escape inflation and access global markets. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are on the horizon, with countries like China and the EU exploring government-backed digital money. While some see CBDCs as progress, others fear they'll become tools for surveillance and control. And that brings us to the real battle ahead. Crypto isn't just a technology, it's a philosophy. One side believes in decentralization, privacy, and individual freedom. The other sees a future of programmable money controlled by central authorities. The clash between open systems and closed systems will define the next decade. We're entering a time where financial literacy will be as essential as basic education. Understanding how blockchains work, how digital wallets function, and how to protect your assets in a decentralized world will become everyday knowledge. The power is shifting, but only to those willing to learn. And remember, it all started with a pizza. What seemed like a joke transaction is now a symbol of something much bigger. Laszlo didn't just buy pizza, he proved that digital currency could have real-world value. That one moment sparked an unstoppable wave of innovation, investment, and ideological warfare. From Bitcoin to Ethereum, from DeFi to DAOs, from meme coins to metaverses, crypto is rewriting the rules. And whether you're a believer or a skeptic, one thing is clear: the genie is out of the bottle. The financial system as we know it is being questioned, tested, and reimagined. The crypto takeover won't happen overnight. It'll be messy. There will be crashes, there will be scams, but there will also be breakthroughs, moments that make us wonder how we ever lived without it. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about sovereignty. It's about rethinking who gets to decide what has value. It's about creating a world where power flows not from institutions, but from code, consensus, and community. So the next time someone tells you crypto is just a fad, remember this: the internet was once a joke too. And revolutions, they often start quietly, sometimes over a slice of pizza. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of the curve. You're not just watching the story unfold, you're part of it. So hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and let us know in the comments. Is crypto the future or just a phase? Will it liberate us or lead to new kinds of control? Because one thing's for sure, the crypto revolution is no longer coming. It's already here.